Section 7. Duties to clients and customers. Sarah's business was growing. She had successfully closed her first transaction and was now working with both buyers and sellers. One afternoon, while preparing an offer for one of her buyers, she received a phone call from another client asking about a different property. As she finished the call, David walked by her office. "Looks like you're staying busy." "I am," Sarah laughed, "but sometimes I wonder if I'm doing enough for my clients." David smiled. That's a question every good realtor should ask. He pulled out his copy of the Realtor Code of Ethics and opened it to Article 1. "This article is considered the foundation of the entire Code of Ethics," he explained. "It requires realtors to protect and promote their clients' interests while treating all parties honestly." Sarah looked up. "So my client's interests always come first?" "Yes," David replied, "but notice what Article 1 doesn't say. It doesn't tell you to win at any cost. It doesn't allow you to mislead another party, and it certainly doesn't allow you to violate Arizona law." David reminded Sarah that AAC R428-1101 requires Arizona licensees to protect their clients' lawful interests while dealing fairly with everyone involved in the transaction. The Realtor Code of Ethics reinforces those same principles by encouraging realtors to exceed the minimum legal standard through honesty, integrity, and professionalism. Imagine you're representing a buyer looking for a home in Queen Creek. Your buyer falls in love with a property and asks, "What do you think I should offer?" At the same time, the listing agent calls and asks if your buyer would be willing to increase their price because another offer may be coming. David explained that a realtor's first responsibility is to provide honest advice that helps the client make an informed decision. That doesn't mean making the decision for them. Instead, realtors should explain the market, discuss comparable sales, review the strengths and risks of each option, and allow the client to decide. "This is where experience becomes valuable," David said. "We advise, we educate, we recommend, but ultimately the client makes the decision." Experienced brokers see problems when licensees begin making decisions for their clients, instead of helping clients make informed choices. Sarah remembered another conversation she recently had with a seller. The seller asked if they should reject an offer simply because they didn't like the buyer's financing. Instead of telling the seller what to do, Sarah reviewed the strengths and weaknesses of each offer, discussed the financial terms, closing timelines, and contingencies, and allowed the seller to make the final decision. David smiled. That's exactly what Article 1 is talking about. A realtor protects the client's interests by providing professional guidance, not by making decisions for them. He also reminded Sarah that while realtors owe fiduciary duties to their clients, they still owe honesty and fairness to customers and every other party involved in the transaction. For example, if a buyer asks whether another offer exists, you should answer honestly. If your seller has instructed you to keep the details confidential, you should simply explain that confidential information cannot be disclosed. You should never create imaginary offers or exaggerate the level of competition to influence a buyer's decision. Those shortcuts often become ethics complaints. Successful realtors understand that trust is earned through honesty, communication, and consistent professionalism. When clients know you're providing honest advice instead of simply telling them what they want to hear, they gain confidence in your recommendations. That confidence often leads to stronger relationships, repeat business, and referrals throughout your career. As we continue, we'll shift our focus from duties owed to clients and customers to the realtor's broader responsibility to protect the public through truthful advertising, accurate disclosures, and ethical business practices. Online discussion 1. Why is Article 1 considered the foundation of the Realtor Code of Ethics? Article 1 establishes a realtor's primary responsibility to protect and promote the client's interests, while treating all parties honestly. It sets the ethical standard for how realtors should conduct themselves throughout every transaction, and reinforces the importance of professionalism and consumer protection. 2. How should a realtor respond when a client asks for advice about accepting or rejecting an offer? Answer. A realtor should provide objective information, explain the advantages and disadvantages of each option, discuss market conditions, and answer the client's questions honestly. The realtor should educate and advise the client while allowing the client to make the final decision. 3. Why is honesty with customers just as important as loyalty to clients? While realtors owe fiduciary duties to their clients, they also have a responsibility to treat customers and all parties honestly and fairly. Honest communication builds trust, reduces misunderstandings, and helps protect both consumers and licensees from future disputes.